Time for rolling.
Welcome to Time for Rolling eSports, the weekly podcast that brings you Vainglory eSports. From predictions to recaps and analysis, we present to you the best in professional Vainglory. Now here's your hosts, Endless and Crude Sloth. It's
time for rolling.
Crazy.
What was?
Last night.
Dude, that's intense for sure. I can't believe that Cloud9 lost.
I mean, I don't know. I'm still in shell shock.
Yeah, just from watching them yesterday. Like, I hadn't set in my mind that Cloud9 was winning Worlds, and Tribe was like, nah, we got this.
Yeah, well, day 3's in the wraps. I just heard an echo, didn't you?
Nope.
You're on a new mic, so we're trying to see if this is going to work or not. And I don't know if it is, so we're going to record this episode, and I hope it works. But day 3 is in the wraps, and it was wild. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Each day keeps getting better. Each match is more intense, and I never expected Vainglory Worlds to be honestly this good.
Yeah, like, it's been far and beyond what I thought it would. Like, I asked you if we could label this as, like, the upset tournament, or, I gotta think of a better name, but...
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
But it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many, like, the three, well, I guess if Ace would have went down to Impunity, then I guess we really could, but, no, I don't think anyone really expected Tribe to be the lone NA team left out of Cloud9 and TSM.
Well, it would have been wild. Well, never mind. We'll get into that. Let's get into this episode, guys. Let's do our sponsors real quick. First, let me talk about Mobile eSports. Mobile eSports is a great company that focuses on all things mobile eSports. They do a lot of community events, and they do a lot of tournaments when it comes to games like Critical Ops, Clash Royale, and now Vainglory. They're getting into more fun and awesome competitive mobile games, War Friends, Rules of Survival, all those kind of titles. So we're really excited to be doing more things with them, especially getting into Vainglory, hosting some fun community tournaments with them. So make sure you check out all their websites, social media, YouTube and Twitch, where they stream a lot of their stuff on YouTube. All that will be linked in the show notes. You'll be able to look at it there. So make sure you check them out. Our other wonderful friend is the North American Champs League. They did just announce Season 5, so we're getting prepared to start the new season. Going to be a lot of good teams. It's going to be a lot of good games. Those just run randomly throughout the weekdays. Really, you can never stop getting enough of Vainglory eSports, along with Viz and the Vainglory 8 on the weekend. So if you think you have a team that is good enough to maybe win that North American Champ League, work your way into the Viz League, and then all the way up to North America, or all the way up to Vainglory 8, then you should definitely sign up. That is also in the show notes. Two great people, super excited to have them be our sponsors of this show. But that is all we have when it comes to sponsors. Friends, of course, check show notes. Be prepared. We'll always be retweeting and announcing things when new things come out for them. But I say we go ahead and get into this recap of Day 3.
The right targets. That is one trade. T-Tigers is still pretty healthy. Tries to jump in. He finds one. This is a big turnaround for Liberation X. They might get the third. They might find an ace here onto Lost Boy Top. Surrey Strike is not enough. The Dynamite goes down. He might go for Donna Twips. He's gonna get one. He's gonna get two. Lost Boy Top.
Lost Boy Top. He does it. He gets the 2 versus 1 turnaround under the turret.
He lives
this
too.
man is a god. That gauntlet was...
Time for rolling.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. It is Endless here. I am joined with Crude Sloth. How's it going, man?
It is going great. Worlds is living up to the hype for sure.
Yeah, new mic. Already mentioned that a little bit. Uh, Crude, of course, got his new computer, so we cannot get Discord to recognize his normal headphone set. So we switched to a condenser mic, USB mic actually, and that's probably why he sounds weird. And we're hoping we don't get a weird echo. So if we do, you know what? I'm just gonna claim technical issues. You gotta just stick with us. It seems to be a big theme. People just gotta stick through the pain. So hopefully we'll figure this out and just record this episode today and just I'll just let it go. We'll figure it out after. I don't have time right now to be dealing with technology. I'm too tired. I'm sick. I think that's what happens when you get 11 hours of sleep within 72 hours. Your body just starts shutting down. Sore throat. It's just the whole 9 yards. It's fun time.
Yeah, so there's no better time to try out new technology than when Vainglory is having its biggest tournament of the year. So, I mean, I think we're doing it right, to be honest with you. You just got to, try new technology and blame it on the technology when it goes bad.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. We'll figure it out. Um, but yeah, like we already mentioned, day three was super intense. Going into Cloud9 versus Tribe, we had talked about in the last episode that if Cloud9 does fall to Tribe, that would be one of the biggest upsets, just from the simple fact of Cloud9 never losing 7-0 going into this match. Man, I just did not expect Tribe to come out swinging like they did.
Yeah, they played phenomenal. I mean, Cloud9, like you said, 7-0 this tournament. I mean, they won both unified live championships. Like, you just expect that when Cloud9 gets to a live tournament, no one's going to stop them. And from watching with day one, day two, now obviously you got to give props to Tribe. They're a tougher team, in my opinion, at least, than Hunters and uh, who's the first, their Group A.
Pain and Elite Eight.
Pain, thank you. I couldn't think of Pain. And yeah, so I don't know. I couldn't believe it. I was happy. I'm not upset that Tribe won, but I just, the way I saw Cloud9 playing the first 2 days, I was shocked.
Yeah. First matchup, let's get into some of these games. Cloud9 went with kind of what they really truly just kind of know. The Vox Fortress pick, along with really any captain, they did go with the Adagio here, and me and you did discuss that you thought
Yep.
that's where they kind of went wrong. They were trying to counter a weapon power Adagio, I feel like, and take it away from Dienzio. But when you look at what Tribe got, they got Rona, Blackfeather, and Arden, and I mean, when you see that combo, you're just like, yikes! I don't think they're gonna lose with that. And they did not really struggle first game, and Tribe comes out like hardcore swinging, like our faces, jaw drops. We just could not. And there's a little echo there, everyone, if you hear that. Just we could not believe that they truly won game one. I was like, yikes! This series is gonna be insane.
Yeah, what surprised me the most, I think, was definitely the how well Tribe was rotating. Like, I almost thought that, like, the nameplates were like switched, and that it was actually Cloud9. Because I mean, Tribe did exactly what Cloud9 does best, and that is, global objectives, rotations. It was such a crisp, clean game. Cloud9 were like, what do we do? Because Tribe played it so well. I was so impressed. I have no other words than that's just how impressed I was with Tribe. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't see them play this good throughout the entire season. At points like that, you had flashes of them playing this well, but man, to hold it together like that against C9, that was crazy.
Yeah, and we really just see old school not in this game one at least not being that traditional Vox that he
Yeah,
normally is. He really just kept getting caught out. I mean, when you're playing up against a Rona and a Blackfeather who can kind of get on top of you, and the casters or maybe the analyst desk, I'm not sure who it was, they pointed out perfectly. T Tigers and DNZO says, "I love Joseph. We don't care about you. You're an aftershock storm guard fortress. You're not gonna kill us. I mean, you're gonna do some damage. Let's just focus on getting old school out of the picture, and then we'll just clean up the rest." And that's what they did all game. They win 9-2. That specific rotation you're talking about, Tribe's like, let's go get their crystal sentry real quick. Cloud9's like, all right, well, we'll get your turret, and then Tribe's like, all right, we'll just rotate up, kill you, and get your turret, and then get more
yeah,
objectives. So I mean, I not only were they out rotating, they were just outplaying Cloud9 in game one. So looking at going into game two, I was like, when we look at the draft here, go ahead and go over some of the draft for game 2.
So yeah, I mean Cloud9 they get the Black Feather and they go with Vox again, but they go with a different build this time. You got T-Tigers on his Koshka. I was excited when he picked up that Koshka to see how much early game aggression going along with that Grace. And D'Enzio gets this Rona, and this Rona did some damage this game, but Cloud9 comes out on top this game. Gabe Vizzle gets his Arden, so there I covered all who everyone had, but I think the biggest thing would be Old School and the change in his build. Obviously, he didn't go with the Tyrant's Monocle Breaking Point. He went with the Sorrow Blade Breaking Point and Poison Shiv, to try to help, fight off the sustain with the Grace and the healing that's coming out from there. So I think it was a better game for Cloud9 this time around, obviously.
Yeah, they didn't dominate. They win 12-9. We see D'Enzio instantly lock in that Rona. To me, I was like, okay, Rona Koshka into the Old School on that box. I was like, this is going to be another big struggle. And it was. Tribe won game 2, like, for most of the game. And then they were down. Cloud9 was down 10,000 gold, people. Like, Tribe truly had it in the bag. I was like 2-0 lead right now. This series is over. But then, Old School started carrying. He started getting his build up. I Love Joseph was doing just enough damage and surviving to allow Old School to carry and get those breaking point stacks that were just insane. So Cloud9 comes back. I do need to say that they came back to win game 2 and tie it up 1-1. It wasn't. I mean, I'm sure that was pretty hurtful for like D'Enzio for them to be like, dang, we almost had a 2-0 lead over them, but we dropped that because of some bad team fights late. So 1-1, and I'm like, all right, we're back to 0-0. Anything can happen. Going into game 3, this is when me and you are just dying laughing at D'Enzio's skills. I've truly never seen anything like it.
He was kiting like he was like holding out bread for like ducks to follow. Like just follow me along, and I'm going to just murder you and just stack up on you. I've never seen it, and Max Green, props to you because those Vanguards and just keeping D'Enzio alive and keeping him distanced. Then you throw in T-Tigers with the Baptiste. They had so much peel. You get Gauntlets, you got Fearsome Shades.
Who's D'Enzio playing? You haven't told him yet.
Sky. Oh, I thought you said Sky.
No, I never did.
Oh, well, my bad.
Weapon Power Sky.
Surprise, D'Enzio's playing Weapon Power Sky, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he was stacking up, and just about his, obviously Sky's movement is ridiculous, so he could just kite the hell out of him, and that's what he did, and that was the key to victory. That's the storyline of this entire match right here.
Yeah, and the fight of the series does come from this game, but we see Old School, they pick up the Rona for Old School to try to keep it away from Zio, because like I said, Zio played Rona really well in game 2 as well. They just happened to lose late game and lose that game, so it wasn't like Rona didn't work out. So they run this Rona Koshka comp, which they just beat. They just beat that Rona Koshka, and they try to run it against Tribe. Like, I mean, you got some cojones to be like, look, you just ran this comp, but I'm going to show you how to win with it. And 3 kills from Cloud9. And like you said, I do give all the props to D'Enzio. Some of his Surrey strikes to reposition himself to keep kiting were insane. But having Max Green with the Vanguards and the Gauntlets just to keep putting down more and more CC, there were still times that Cloud9 was blocking all of it and still trying to catch up to Zio, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, the breaking point stacks were just getting higher and higher and higher. And early game they did struggle, but once this guy comes online, and once he gets that, the Poison Shiv, Breaking Point, Sorrow Blade, that kind of standard build, Zio was just dancing around them, and it was, I don't know, dude. It was amazing to see him survive some of the team fights he did.
That was some of the best liner play I've seen this tournament. I'll say it.
I think those team fights were so close, so intense. I think game 3 was the best game of the series.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%.
Just because I think Old School did as well as he could on the Rona. 1-5. We'll talk about Old School later, but he just couldn't. He would jump into the fray. He would boot. He would do everything. And Zio, like you said, was still one step ahead of him. Like and there was times that he caught Zio, and Zio would almost die, and then he would Surrey strike, get a fountain, get out of the way, and heal back up. So,
right. Yeah.
That game 3 win, I think, is what really put the nail in the coffin for Cloud9. That was just such a hurtful hurtful loss because they're like, we did everything we could drafting wise to keep these strong heroes away from Tribe, and Tribe was still just basically stunting on them.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's go into game 4 then.
All right, so we got Tribe. They're picking up this Grace with Max Green. D'Anzio gets his Adagio, which I had talked about in the yesterday's episode. Let's just see Old School and D'Anzio get the weapon power Adagio, see who's better. But quite obviously, it's D'Anzio because he picks it up and does some work with this weapon power Adagio. T Tigers, he gets his Kashka. Gabe Vizzle gets a Lyra. Old School gets his Vox again, and then I Love Joseph has Baptiste. So this was an interesting game, I guess you could say. It didn't take too long. It's a 17-minute finish. Tribe wins 10-2 to take down the C9 Giants. But anything you want to touch on specifically in this one?
Yeah, first pickup for Cloud9 is Baptiste, and I just don't get in this meta why Baptiste, like we've heard this Baptiste be a pocket pick, but why was this Baptiste a first pick? I don't really truly understand that decision. You look at Tribe's comp, you're like, wow, they have Grace, they have Adagio, they have Kashka. How? Like how will they're
Yeah.
not gonna lose on that comp. So
I'm just speculating with this, but like, what if their mind, if they're like, okay, we did our Vox Fortress, and then whatever you want to throw in build or comp, we lost with that. We've lost with Rona. We've lost with these meta picks. Maybe they should have picked up a weapon Sky, but it's old. We don't see Old School playing that weapon power Sky very much, have we? I mean,
I think he does play it. I think
I'm sure he can play it, but I mean, is that like his best?
I probably not. I mean, I truly want to see them go back to game 1 and not flex that Adagio and leave Old School on weapon power Adagio and see what happens. But they flexed it to try to be a little cheeky, I feel like. And I think if they just left the Adagio weapon power, maybe Old School just performs better because it's a different hero than this Vox that he was struggling on. I think T Tigers, this is the first Kashka win. So both teams did try to run this Kashka, and that Kashka got 2 fat L's. And then finally, I mean, he goes 4-0. Adagio, this, D'Anzio was the perfect amount aggressive, the perfect amount, like, in your face. He knew he was going to get a divine intervention from Max Green to stay alive. There was many, many times that Old School had huge amount of stacks, and, he just couldn't get the kill. 0-6, unfortunately, for Old School. And sometimes, you can only be on top for so long. And I think that's why this was so hurtful for Cloud9. For those that watched it, you just saw like the emotional breakdown from Old School. He was just so disappointed in himself. He knows he didn't play to the best of his ability. He made some simple mistakes that you don't see normally from him. So, all the respect to Cloud9. They you win. You just are coming into Worlds never really losing. You lose stuff in splits, but who cares? You come into every live finals, every unified, you win. You get first. You come into Worlds and you fall in the semifinals against. I mean, at least it was against a respectable team like Cloud or Tribe.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was just so much. I'm not saying that they were cocky and confident that they knew they were just going to take the entire thing hands down, no issues. But I mean, you kind of come in there with a chip on your shoulder, and when you do lose that, it sucks. Like, obviously, Old School was shaken up, and I don't know. It sucked to see. Happy for Tribe, obviously, but
right.
Man, I was watching that. I was like, damn, that kind of sucks. Like, I feel bad for him, but.
Yeah, I mean, me and you both, we've been on a couple sports teams where we literally go undefeated, and you get one loss late in when you're undefeated. It's just like, it would have been better just been losing all season, just because you don't know what it really feels like to lose. And I know Old School and Cloud9, they know what it feels like to lose, but when you come in 7-0 in Worlds, you're kind of really just running all over them, and then now you're down. You're the one that's behind. How do you like adjust and be ready to be like, all right, we've been in this situation, we've been down before, let's figure out how to win? And I feel like they didn't really have that momentum. It was more like panic. I'm not saying Gabe was. I think Gabe is probably one of the more level head. He really tries to keep Old School and I Love Joseph like together. But I for some reason I just truly think Old School just had lost his composure and his mentality and just couldn't stick in the series. Again, they kept throwing him on Vox. Maybe he just wasn't confident with Vox. He didn't feel like he was playing well. Sometimes when you're playing Vainglory, you get on a hero that you just know you play well, and you just have that confidence. And with those couple losses on that Vox, I don't maybe throwing that weapon power Sky. I don't have the bans here, so I don't know if Sky was banned. It may have been in this game after DNZO just destroyed with it. But if that Sky was open, maybe throw old school on Sky and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. That was crazy.
I mean, shout out real quick, SCMC. You made that decision. Thank you for sending Tribe to Worlds.
Yeah.
I I think I okay, I can't say this because it's just gonna make us look dumb, but we can't be like, oh, I truly think no one can stop Tribe now because obviously their opponent is gonna be really strong. But I just think with the fact that Tribe came into this game against the strongest team and pretty much won well, drafted amazing. Every single comp they drafted, they performed well on, even that one loss. So I think Tribe's looking really good going into the finals.
Yeah, it's gonna be this as a matchup. Obviously, we haven't talked about the other semifinal yet, but yeah, I don't. I'm like, it's funny because I sit here and I want to say I don't see Tribe losing this, but I said that about Cloud9 yesterday, so that just goes to show you never know what to expect from Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why this is going to be one of the most talked about events all year. We're going to come back to this so many times when we talk about NA going back into more unified play. So I cannot wait for tomorrow. We have one more series. To be honest, I was not excited about this series. I was like, I could go to bed right now. NA versus NA, I just saw the hype match, but then I go and watch it, and I'm blown away. I'm like just as invested. I was rooting for Impunity just because it's like, come on, this home crowd team, the underdog like this, it was insane. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have Impunity versus Ace Gaming, QT, Quarter Voice, and DevQ against Creation, Young Joe, and Tasa. Creation, Young Joe,
Young Jew.
and
You're
and,
right.
and Tasa. I mean, these guys, man, they're scary, but I do say they are inconsistent. They are a little inconsistent, and I think Tribe did drop a game, but that was just a late game miscue. I think Tribe was pretty consistent in that series, but this game against Impunity, I think I truly agree with someone tweeted this. I forget who it was. We always talk about Tribe's live buff, but can we appreciate the fact that Impunity has been the underdog and they come out and they put up a fight against every team they play?
Yeah, they are always scrapping. Like, I mean, throughout this entire series, they were never like dominating, like in control in any of the games, but they were right there. Like they were on the knife's edge. It could go either way, and they could really start to snowball and start steamrolling. But unfortunately for them, it does not work out.
Yeah, game one, Impunity versus Ace. I don't, I, I don't know. Impunity did draft. They draft Blackfeather, Sky, and
Turd Walker.
oh my god, I could not think of his name. Churnwalker as Rome. I was pretty confident with that build or that comp. Obviously, seeing Weapon Power Sky, I was like, ooh, we're gonna see another domination. But I don't think he was as strong as DNZO. But when you look
No.
at Ace's comp, they had the Ardents. They had a lot of crowd control there. Creation on that Rona, and then Tasa on the Reza that Reza play was pretty strong. He did a nice job of making QC's job just miserable. So, 13-3, Ace wins this one, and Creation is looking really strong on Rona. This Rona pick is deadly when its Creation gets it.
Real quick, though, I want to go back to that QC, like we were talking about with the Weapon Power Sky. If you look at his build, he did, in comparing him to Dienzio, Dienzio has the Sorrow Blade, Poison Shiv, and Breaking Point. QC subs out the Sorrow Blade for the Bonesaw.
Yeah.
So interesting, different take from different regions on how they build it. But I just wanted to point that out.
I think he shreds through armor better because they do have a lot of armor, but I think the big difference is your breaking point stacks do not get as high as quick because you lose all that weapon power from Sorrow Blade. Like
Right.
you really need that Sorrow Blade, I feel like. So game one, I was like, that's all right. We saw Ace kind of destroy Pain Gaming in game one. And then Payne kind of just drafts well, adapts well, and kind of gets back into it. So I was really expecting Impunity to do the same. If we move on to game two, Impunity, they do these little, not too crazy of a draft. We see our first Rome Glaive.
Yep.
Shout out to Paulie from Time for Rolling. He did call that. He said he would like to see a Rome Glaive. He thought it'd be viable. So Youngju does pull that out. The jungle Lorelei is nice. I think DefQ did a good job on it, but really it was probably cutesy on the Baron that had to win the game for him, and it was close, man. I'm talking a 32-minute match.
Yeah, it was back in. How many Krakens were unleashed? Like three,
I
four?
think I think 4.
Yeah, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but yeah, it was definitely back and forth, back and forth. I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought Impunity could like sneak this win out and tie it back up to go 1-1, but Ace Gaming comes out on top because
Backdoor.
yeah, the back door. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was the team fights were very back and forth, and it was just up to cutesy to cutesy QC
QC.
QC to try to just like stay alive. Because when you have a 5 item Baron no defense, if you do stay alive and you get enough heal Vanguard, the bubble from DefQ, this was definitely a protect the Hondur comp, and it worked a couple times. That's why this game lasted for so long, and Impunity stuck into it. But towards the end, Tassa on the Crystal Blackfeather and Vox on Creation, it was just too strong. They end up winning the last final push there and win game 2. So now we're aces, up 2-0. Are we gonna see a 3-0? That's what I'm thinking. Like that's hard to be these kids knowing you're down 2-0 against a team like Ace.
Real quick, I gotta try to make sure correct us. Is it QC or is it Queasy? I'm pretty sure it's Queasy.
I like saying it QC better. So even if I'm
Hey,
wrong,
you got on me yesterday about having to know the names to pronounce it. So
I didn't get
I'm
on
pretty sure
you. I got on myself because I couldn't even remember what their names were.
yeah. Well, I think it's Queasy.
I
I think that's
I
how you
have
pronounce
never heard one of them say that, but I could be
it.
wrong.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. Moving on to game 3. Definitely an intense matchup as well, as we've seen throughout the entire time. Young Ju going back on that Churnwalker. Ace Gaming's draft was interesting to say the least. You had Young Ju on the Churnwalker, Tassa on a CP Arden, and then Creation on the Weapon Power Kestrel. I was super excited to see this Weapon Power Kestrel come out. It's very good at taking down objectives and just kind of shredding through turrets or shredding through opponents. But I think a lot of this focus was to put this on Creation, like kind of like the hyper carry almost, and with Arden's Vanguard to be able to protect and stuff. It ends up not working out that well. Impunity comes out. They kind of pull a card out of C9's book, kind of with the Vox Fortress, and then they actually bring out a Catherine. I think this is the first time we've seen a Catherine, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that unless we missed one during one of the off-stream matches or something like that, but this is the
Yeah.
first like big game with a Catherine. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ace. They banned Lyra and Grace. They pick up an Arden. They really were forcing Impunity into maybe a sticky situation with a captain. I think that's why the Catherine did come out, because Impunity even banned the Lorelei. So that was another strong captain. But they run, like you said, that fortress. They flex that to jungle. I think with the with the Crystal Arden, they were trying something. Like, I don't think it's like their
Yeah.
best, strongest pick. A Clockwork Aftershock, you're focusing on getting gauntlets and getting vanguards and keeping, like you said, creation alive as long as possible, because we've seen this 4 item creation Kestrel be absolutely deadly and kind of can carry the game. But Impunity, like, shout out to them for QC going 7-0. DefQ doing such a good job of getting on top of everyone, to kind of just really make things chaotic. Young Ju, using his trespass and that kind of stuff. He tried, but it just wasn't the best captain, and overall the best play for Ace. 11-3. Impunity does win, so I was like, all right. Impunity's not out of it yet. We got a game
Yeah.
4 coming up. Let's see.
Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah, let's see how they can adapt to this. But yeah, Impunity, like I said, you got the crowd on your back. You're like this. You got this giant bet with Playoff Beard. If you win, you shave his beard. Like, I think no matter what, and I'll re-say this one more time. But Impunity finishing top 4.
Yeah.
No one would say that besides fans of the crowd or of that team. So I think it's the fact that they finished top 4 is amazing. And let's go ahead and discuss this roller coaster of a game 4. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
ugh.
so Ace Gaming, they pick up a Sky, a Rona, and a Lyra. Pretty strong comp, obviously. When they first, I can't remember if did they pick up the Sky first. Do you remember or no? I think they picked up the Sky first.
No, it was Lyra first with the Baptiste band, then they picked up Sky, and Rona was their last pick.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I mean, well, them picking that up originally, the Sky first over the Rona is what I'm trying to focus on. I thought it was gonna be that weapon power Sky, but
Right.
turns out it's that crystal power Sky weapon Rona. As far as Impunity, Quisi gets on a Celeste, Def is on that Kroll, and then Quartervoyus is on the Arden. Yeah, I don't know. I like Ace Gaming's draft here better because what that Rona can do with the spin to win. But the interesting
Yeah.
part about it was he didn't go the build, Arden's build, or I'm sorry, not Arden, Rona's build.
Yeah, see, that is interesting. I never noticed that. Double Tyrant, Sorrow Blade, and Tornado Trigger.
And then there's no
No
sustain.
sustain. 'Cause simply relying off of Youngju's Fountain and Sigils to keep him alive. That is actually really crazy. That means the damage that comes out of creation is really strong. Um, no poison shiv on either team as well. That crawl, he didn't even go poison shiv. That def Q, that's probably maybe why Rona didn't worry about the healing because the crawl was just going Sorrow Blade. I think Dowsy and then we're discussing that Cruel can beat Sky early. But Sky really late game can dance so much and get the stacks up off of the alts, and the
Yeah,
alts come back every 13 seconds, and the forward it's just Sky was just a nuisance. Sky did not win this game at any means for Team Ace. It was definitely creation. But we have a 19 minutes match. Impunity 7 kills, Ace 6. We see a Kraken. We see let's see. Impunity's winning all game, correct? Ace goes ahead and wins a late team fight. They push down all the turrets, and then Impunity spawns and kills them off. So we're like, okay, Impunity still has this chance. And then Impunity gets a Kraken. The Kraken's pushing down the base. Impunity may have a good chance to push to win, but I think with Sky, Lyra, and Rona, I think Ace realized that, look, there's no way they can stop us. All we need to do is jump over the wall and just attack the crystal.
yeah, and they did the old backdoor creation, just jumped over the wall because there was no turrets left. They were trying to, Arden or the Quatervoya was trying to stop them, but with putting out that much damage with those Tyrant's monocles, he destroyed the vein crystal and moved on to the finals.
That's why I'm excited for 5v5. I'm not saying because this is not a traditional backdoor where Impunity doesn't have enough vision or Impunity doesn't realize they're doing it. No, Impunity caught it. They
Yeah,
have a Celeste, they have a Cruel, they have an Ardent, they have CC, but it didn't matter. They're still just there's not enough attack power to kill them quick enough to
right.
make your crystal survive because the crystal's weak. It has no defense, has no attack. 5v5, that new vein crystal is going to have attack. You're not going to be able to. You're going to have a lot more cojones to backdoor with a full 5-man team to try to take that down. So I'm not saying I don't, it's a part of the game. Man, this echo is driving me crazy, so we definitely want to figure that out. Anyways, I'm not saying it's not a part of the game, but I truly think Impunity wins this game if maybe taking down that Vein Crystal isn't as easy as it is late game.
Right. Oh,
So 5-2, QC does his, Celeste. He does as good as he can. I thought we were gonna have a game 5. I was hoping for a game 5, impossible, Impunity, like the craziest comeback that we would talk about for years. Like, do you remember when Impunity, this team that when everyone was like, yeah, they're good, but nowhere near they're gonna be able to adjust to meta. They created the meta in some senses, and they played a lot of interesting comps, and they fought till the end. Like I already said, they made a top 4. Like that's insane. They beat out
yeah.
teams like Cloud9, Rocks. Well, maybe not Cloud9. They have to play them for third, but Rocks and TSM and all these really strong teams, and it was pretty insane.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the finals now, and man, it's gonna be intense for sure. Like I sat here and said, I think Tribe's gonna take it. Do you have an opinion?
I mean, T Tigers, he said respectfully, I would like to play Ace, squash this EA/NA type conversation. The trophy can go back to Korea, so we may still have this Korean teams are best. But best of 7, man, I cannot believe your mic picks up my mic. I know people are probably annoyed at me saying that, but that little mic you have is insanely powerful. uh,
I don't hear the echo, but I mean, I'm sure. Obviously
I'm
coming through.
recording it
Yeah,
on my end.
yeah.
But I
So
don't know, best of seven, man. Like, what is it? Does it go the full seven? I don't think it goes a full seven. I think one team that gets a 2 game lead will have the drafting on their side. I let's see, 4-2. Would that be right? Right?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, 4-2 tribe, I guess. I guess.
first team to 4 wins. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. 4 wins. First team to 4 wins.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
can't
don't know.
wait.
I obviously I think for Vainglory that they want it to go all 7 to for the hype and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it will. I'm hoping it does, but
Yeah, I haven't seen anything out of Ace that makes me stop and say, wow, this team is the most dominant team in this tournament right now. I think that is Tribe. I think they've looked really strong. Impunity did beat Tribe though. That's what's kind of funny when you look back at groups. They did take a game off of Tribe, but unfortunately Ace is the final team. So we have a team from Group D and a team from Group C. So our two group of death conversations are kind of right. A lot of people thought a Group A team would be there, Cloud9, but
yeah.
it's not there. If Impunity would have won, can you imagine having 2 teams in the finals from the same group? Impunity and Tribe from the same group in the finals. That would have been crazy. Group C would have been like, you thought Group D was the group of death.
Yeah, I've been laughing in your face.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a crazy matchup. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If they're going to play a third place live, if they're going to do the championship immediately. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the schedule completely is. Of course, 5v5 will be revealed. They will review. We're going to have a whole King of the Hill. Uh, this is obviously a joke, and this is not true, people. But like, a part of me is just like, man, if I need to sleep and miss something, I may miss the grand finals because I do not want to miss 5v5.
Yeah, I ain't sleeping. That's why no. I'll sleep all day today in preparation for that. I don't care.
Yeah, because there's just too much hype. Like, everything is going to be important. I may nap during the third place match if they do play that. But yeah, the King of the Hill, I'm going to be taking screenshots of every part of the map possible so I can study it and start looking at it. Going to see what kind of crazy comps we see out. These teams are going to be having fun. They're going to be trying things, showcasing some how heroes operate in 5v5. So it's going to be a blast. Overall, Cloud9, keep your head up. I can't believe you guys lost. I know you guys can't either. It probably sucks coming this far and thinking there's no way you're not going to make it to the finals, and having to play against a team like Tribe was definitely probably what we could ask for, even though it was semifinals.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I'm still speechless about it. Like, I don't even know what to say about it because I thought for sure that Cloud9 had it wrapped up. Like, I know we were talking off of recording yesterday. I'm like, there's no way Cloud9 loses.
Yeah. I was just glad for both series. My jaw was dropped multiple times. I didn't know who was going to win multiple times, and that proves that how healthy the competitive scene is right now,
Yeah.
and how every team can come into in any match and truly put up a good fight. And again, I think the real winners are just Impunity for making as far as they did, and just no matter who they played, they fought hard. Rox Armada, it's just I was truly amazed.
Let me throw a sentence at you, and I want you to have a 1-word response. Okay.
Oh, okay.
5v5 worlds.
Awesome.
Like, dude, that just thinking about that has. Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm actually terrified because me and you have been brutally destroyed by these hours by trying to stay up as long as we could. Day one, over 12 hours of Vainglory. Me and you try to split times. We try to survive. Day after day, we were getting less and less sleep. We're up longer and longer. 5v5 matches are longer. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work, man.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
Yep, we will. I don't really have much left to say besides day 3 was super intense. Tonight's gonna be wild. Crude and I have a great day planned in here in 3 hours. We will be seeing Star Wars,
Ugh.
the Last Jedi. I love Vainglory, but I've been waiting for Star Wars forever. yesterday we prepared. We did a little preparation and watched Force Awakens, and I was like, you know what, this movie sucks. Nah, it doesn't really suck, but like compared to what I've heard about the Last Jedi, I'm prepared to literally have an emotional breakdown and cry in the movie theater. I think I'm ready for that to happen. With the lack of sleep and how probably unstable I am, it's a high possibility.
Should I buy you some chocolate before we go in there or something?
Yeah, have your phone ready.
Okay.
All right, man. Everyone, thank you for tuning in this episode. The audio wasn't as bad as I thought. Sometimes if I talk too loud, I'm like 5 rooms away from Crude, and his mic is still picking it up. I think if my blinks, like his mic's picking up me blinking. So, I need to play around with that, but that's all we have. Cheers, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 24 hours for championship talk.
For sure.
Will it
Cheers.
be championship talk, or will it just be like how mind blown we are about 5v5?
No, it'll be championship talk,
All
and
right.
then the first 15 minutes will be championship talk. 45 will be 5v5.
Fair enough. I like it. We will see you in 24 hours.
All right, see you.
Thanks for tuning in to Time for Rolling. If you liked what you heard, please leave a review on iTunes or Google Play Music and subscribe for weekly episodes. Follow us on Twitter at Time for Rolling and at TFR_eSports. Until next week for another edition of
Time for rolling.